Far-left Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez getting heckled, shouted down by former supporters of hers. They're furious over the Democrats' support for sending military aid to Ukraine.
You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens?
You have done nothing. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against.
I'll get to the issue last. I will get to the issue.
Why not right now?
Because you are being rude.
Greg, they weren't close enough to make her eyes water, but what do you make of this?
I don't know. I mean, it's always fun to see, a leftist yell at a leftist. But there is kind of an interesting flip going on here where hardcore leftists are in bed with the hawks. A lot of them are. And then you're seeing the right trying to slow the roll of nuclear war. Some analysts are putting at the odds of a nuclear event at 25%. Maybe it's just going to look like that and it won't happen. But you think everyone would put that at the very top of their list of their priorities, preventing global extinction, right? But if you mention the P word, peace, or the N word, negotiation, you will be branded by the neocon, hard left nexus as being a propagandist or a Putin lover, just because you want to prevent absolute global destruction. So it's kind of odd to see people, for example, yesterday we were talking about people that are like, climate change, the earth is going to be destroyed, and but they're okay with, they're not even paying attention to this. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, some of that comes from the attitude of conservatives from Trump, does it not?
Yeah, he awakened an isolationist wing of the party, and that's good. It's healthy, I think, for both parties to question some of the more hawks that run things. But there is no more principled left in this country. The principled anti-war left is gone. You saw that during the Cold War. You saw it during, it was the first Gulf War, Iraq War, obviously. And then you remember you had people like AOC during the Soleimani strike. They were like, oh, that's a war crime. Or anything Trump did internationally was a war crime. And then Biden is just like feeding the war machine over in Ukraine. And I don't even need to debate that. But she's just writing checks from the Treasury, like, go for it. Raytheon, go for it. Go unleash the war machine. And usually you have people on that far left wing of the Democratic Party. They don't want any war. They want peace. Remember, make love, not war. Make love, not war is over. Those days are over. Harold is looking at me like, not in my house. But those days are over, and you need that on both sides. And now it looks like the only people really questioning the war effort are Republicans. They're not saying we don't need to go to war yet. They're just saying, what are we doing here? Is this in our national security interest? And that's healthy.
What do you make of AOC getting yelled at? She did the sit-in at Nancy Pelosi's office like 4 years ago. So she's getting, she's getting a little dose of her own
I think she doesn't know how to answer that.
She doesn't.
She doesn't know how to answer it. And it's for precisely what we're talking about here, that there is no peace movement in America. And anyone who says, wait a minute, and I've had conversations with people who are involved in the military, who behind, off stage will say, yeah, we don't really know where this thing is actually going. Hit the rewind button and remember that Zelensky, the first thing that we offered him was a ride out, right? We said, you're going to get crushed by Russia. This is going to be ugly. We give you so much credit for your desire to save your country, to build an army, but you can't do it. You're going to get crushed. We're going to help you out. We'll take you into exile, and then we'll figure this whole thing out. And look what he did. Right? So he stunned the world with his ability to stand up to Putin, which, of course, everyone admires. But we are getting pulled in more and more and more because we said, you're incredible. Of course, we support what you're doing. But we haven't hit the pause button and said, OK, wait, where's this going? We just got out of a 20-year war in Afghanistan. President Biden and President Trump both said, no more. We're not doing this anymore. So I just raised the question, and I don't know the answer. What are we doing? And where is this going? And for how long and how much and how soon until we have our own resources more and more on the ground? I don't know where this is going, but I think it's good to ask the question.
I could tell you where it's not going. We're not doing everything in our power to drive down the price of energy. And it goes back to producing as much
absolutely,
as
100%.
Starve Vladimir Putin of money and manpower, and we're not doing everything and everything that we could to do it. And so you got to start with that. I want to get your reaction to Paul Begala, what he had to say.
He said a lot.
Just listen to this.
Okay.
Look, I spoke before or after Joe Biden half a dozen times. And the fact is, when he came off that stage, you know what people were not saying? That guy has the energy, the vigor,
And then all of a sudden he developed it. You're missing the most important thing, Andrew. The early states are full of white liberals. They don't like Joe. Then when we moved to real Democrats, African Americans in the South, they loved him and he steamrolled everybody. Because in my party, the heart and soul of the party are people of color, not pain in the ass white liberals on Twitter. I'm sorry to use bad language.
I just wanted to liven it up a little bit with that.
We went from Ukraine to that. So
Well, you can talk about either. It's a jump ball.
I do think what Paul is, I would have probably said it a little differently, but if you look at what's happened, our Democrats, we've elected president over the last 30, 40 years, start with Clinton. He lost those early states. It was not until he got to Super Tuesday and had that South Carolina and Georgia, North Carolina and Texas, where you had Hispanic and black Democrats, largely black Democrats, that put him over. And obviously the same happened with Joe Biden and Barack Obama, who experienced success in Iowa but didn't win in New Hampshire, but won in South Carolina against Hillary Clinton. So black voters are critical to the party. I'd say this just very briefly about Ukraine. And we don't have troops on the ground there. We've sent arms to these people. And we can't have it both ways. We can't say, gosh, we're so glad you're fighting. No, don't fight too much now because you're gonna make us uncomfortable. Here's a guy and a group of people who said, you know, we want to control our future. We'd rather die on our knees or die on our feet than live on our knees. I admire that. Now, if we actually had troops there, it'd be a different conversation. I'm encouraged to see the Congresswoman. We talked about her a few weeks ago about her maybe running for president. Her politics are not mine. But these are the kinds of experiences you have to have if you're going to run for president. You have to have those who you believe are your allies in your wing of the party challenge you. And you have to stand up for what you believe in. If you voted for something, you got to stand up for it. Or if you believe you made a mistake, then say you made a mistake. If we do not support Ukraine, think of what would have happened had we not supported them. Think about what Vladimir Putin, who gave a speech 9 months ago saying, I want to reconstitute the Soviet Union. This was the beginning of it. This would have not only destabilized Eastern Europe, but it would have been a great threat to our friends and allies in NATO. We can debate all of this.
But if she believes what you said, she should have said that when she got heckled.
She said, they're so rude. You're interrupting the other supporters.
Politics remains, it's not a spectator sport. If you believe in something, I don't care if I disagree with you. We sit around this table, we disagree on things, but I love when someone has a position, they're able to defend their position. That's what you respect in politics, and I hope the Congresswoman is able to do that.
Well, Paul Begala was basically saying it's not the leaders that are the problem, it's the voters. We have bad followers, not bad leaders. That's ass backwards.
Well,
I'll say it out loud. We had to bleep him saying ass. Can I go now?
Amen.
Yep. Can you blame him?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.